Hi, beautiful people. How is everybody doing? Let's get to work. Let's get ready for AWS Certified AI Practitioner official pre-test. I have upcoming exams. So I'm getting ready. So I am sharing my progress while I get ready. I'm sharing it on my YouTube channel as well. So let's do this, okay, together. Okay. So if we put this on the review answer, what does it do? It explains or it gives explanation after each question. In addition to at the end of the exam, the test time will not pause on review screens, and once a test has started, the setting will be locked until the test is reset. So we can do that, and on the second trial, we can do the without the review answer. Let's see, we can just keep it 1 hour and 30 minutes. Let's do it fast. Okay. This is, by the way, in AWS SkillBuilder. You gotta log in, and then it will let you. You'll find it by looking for like AI practitioner exam prep. Okay, number one, a developer is updating web application for podcast hosts to generate transcript summaries. The existing application uses Amazon Transcribe to produce transcripts. The developer must update the web application for the podcast hosts to receive a 2-paragraph summary of the podcast episode. Okay, which AWS service will meet this requirement? Isn't it Transcribe? Developer must update web app for the podcast hosts to receive a 2-paragraph summary of podcast episode. So it's supposed to be transcribed, same thing, right? Existing application uses Amazon Transcribe to produce transcript. And this one is what needing what summary, right? It's either textract or transcribe, but we're gonna go by, oh yeah, it's textract, guys, I believe. So, oh no, it's not even textract. Okay, what is it? Bedrock? Oh yeah, correct. Amazon Bedrock provides serverless access to foundation model and various generative AI capabilities such as agents and knowledge bases. There are several FMs available in Amazon Bedrock that you can use to summarize text. Oh, I see it. Okay, so we're going to Bedrock. Alrighty, let's do it. What is an example of a structured data? A CSV file that contains employee records with fields for employee ID, name, department, and salary. B, a JSON file that contains a log of user activity for a website with recorded nested attributes such as user information and network traffic. C, a XML document that stores configuration settings for healthcare software in which each setting is tagged and organized hierarchically. D, a plain text file that contains a series of blog posts, including both the post and its metadata. Structured means something organized, right? So with fields for employee ID, it has field, it's not completed. Okay, this one, log of user activity for website. I believe it's XML document that stores configuration settings for healthcare software in which each setting is tagged and organized hierarchically. Yes, we are right. So structured data has standardized format with clearly defined data attributes. Typically, the standardized format is tabular with rows and columns. A CSV file is a tabular file format because the file has the same attributes for all data values. For example, each employee record row could have the same attributes column for employee ID, name, department, and salary. A CSV file is an example of structured data. Why are the others not structured data? JSON file that contains a log of user activity for a website with recorded nested attributes such as user information and network traffic. A nested JSON file is an example of semi-structured data. For example, the data does not conform to a strict data model like structured data, but has some elements of structure, which is like user information and network traffic. Therefore, semi-structured data is more straightforward to analyze than unstructured data. A log of user activity does not have clearly defined data attributes. Therefore, this option is not an example of structured data. How about C? A hierarchically organized. Oh, we are incorrect, right? I thought we got the answer. Okay, no, not at this time, guys. Sorry. A hierarchically organized XML file is an example of semi-structured data. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. For example, the data does not conform to a strict data model like structured data, but has some elements of structure tagged configuration settings. Therefore, semi-structured data is more straightforward to analyze than unstructured data. A collection of hierarchically organized settings does not have clearly defined data attributes. Therefore, this option is not an example of structured data. A plain text file, this one is incorrect, is an example of unstructured data. It's plain, yeah. Unstructured data has no set data model or has not been ordered in predefined way. Series of clearly defined series of blog posts and metadata does not have clearly defined data attributes. Therefore, this option is not an example of structured data. So let's just take a note. So that means we got A, so a CSV file that contains employee records with fields for, so we got like field CSV, structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. We got three groups. For structured, so we got CSV file with fields for those detailed information. Okay, let's go to the next one. A company is building a generative AI application for a recurring document summarization task. Initially, the foundation model generated summaries with inconsistent formats and quality. A prompt engineer is developing a prompt template to improve consistency and formatting. Which solution will improve output quality? Include a link to the document repository that contains the documents to be summarized. But we're doing template, we're developing template. Describe the header formats of information in the documents to be summarized. Okay, not yet. Include automatically generated summary based on initial prompts. No. Include a curated summary that demonstrates the desired format and style, because we're developing prompt templates. So we have to add curated summary or demonstration or example with a desired format and style. Okay, so including the link to the document repository is not correct, because prompt that instructs an FM to summarize text needs to include the text to be summarized. To summarize individual documents, a prompt that includes text from multiple documents could unnecessarily increase complexity, token count, and cost. Additionally, some FMs are not able to ingest data directly from a URL or link. So what is it saying? A prompt that instructs an FM to summarize text needs to include text to be summarized. What is it? To summarize text needs to include the text to be summarized. Yes, of course. To summarize individual documents, a prompt that include text from multiple, yeah, right. A prompt that include text from multiple documents could unnecessarily increase complexity, token count, and cost. Additionally, some FMs are not able to ingest data. So what this is saying is, like, if we are preparing a sample prompt, but if we put like a document to be summarized in a sample prompt, then maybe the sample prompt is too big for that specific document. I think to summarize individual document, a prompt that includes text from multiple documents could unnecessarily increase complexity. Let's move forward. Why is describing the header formats of information in the document to be summarized is not the correct answer. The prompt that instructs an FM to summarize text needs to include the text to be summarized. Yep, that's true. Prompt engineering improves output quality by incorporating additional elements. Prompt engineering what? Improves output quality by incorporating additional elements. Yep, such as task context, desired output format, or example outputs. Task context could include the industry or task that the summaries will support. Task context, yeah, include like domain. Okay. To describe specific output format standards or constraints in the prompt can generate content that is more aligned with expectations in the prompt. An example of output format standards or constraints are the number of paragraphs. To describe text formatting of input documents does not affect how the model formats outputs. Okay, why is including an automatically generated summary based on the initial prompt incorrect? To improve consistency of formats and quality. Effective prompt engineering techniques include single or few shot prompting, which include one or more examples. FMs can infer format, style, and the relationship of outputs to input from the examples. In this scenario, the initially generated summaries did not meet quality standards. Therefore, these examples are not likely to improve output quality. To include examples that meet quality standards would be suitable solution. Okay, include a curated summary that demonstrates the desired format and style. Effective prompt engineering techniques include single or few shot prompting, which include one or more examples. FMs can infer format, style, and the relationship of outputs to inputs from the examples. Yes, examples. They will just use example to act like that. This information could be difficult or inefficient to describe in the prompt. To include one or more curated summaries that demonstrate the desired output quality would be the most suitable solution to improve the quality of generated output. Let's go to the fourth question. How's everyone doing? Keep up the good work. Let's get to work. A company is developing a chatbot that uses a foundation model with a, okay, I have to actually like take note of the questions that I made a mistake. So those are about, okay, what was I doing? It was like the tools, like who does what, like text summary. Text summary. I didn't know who does the text summary, so we're just going to the Bedrock. And the second question, why did I make mistake? Structured. Oh yeah. Okay, structured, unstructured. Okay, those two questions I need to review them or the concept later about the types of structured data, unstructured and semi-structured data, and then the tools that use text summary. Okay, we got this. That one is like machine learning or how to prompt engineer. That one is company is developing a chatbot that uses a foundation model with a system prompts to chat with users. Company sets a low temperature parameter for the model inference, which outcome is caused by setting a low temperature parameter. It gets more accurate, I think. The model is more likely to generate longer responses. No. The model is more likely to generate shorter responses. Yes. The model increases the diversity of its response. No. The model decreases the diversity of its response. This might be more accurate, I believe. Yes, we got green. Temperature affects the randomness of token selection, not the length of responses. Setting a low temperature parameter will not cause the model to generate longer responses. And how about the shorter responses? Setting a low temperature parameter will not cause the model to generate shorter responses. So it's not about long or short response. But diversity. A low temperature decreases diversity by favoring higher probability outputs. And how about decreasing the diversity? Temperature affects randomness of token selection. Low temperature makes the probability distribution steeper, which increases the likelihood of selecting higher probability outputs and producing more deterministic responses. Model decreases the diversity of responses, which is good. It gets more accurate, I believe. Which concept describes developing algorithms and statistical models that computer systems use to perform complex tasks without explicit instruction? It is machine learning. Okay, so why is it not OOP, object-oriented programming? It is a programming concept where code is organized around objects. OOP needs explicit instruction to perform tasks. Okay. How about SageMaker built-in algorithm? You can use SageMaker built-in algorithm to perform complex tasks without explicit instruction. However, algorithms are an implementation method. SageMaker built-in algorithms are not the concept behind developing algorithms and statistical model. Inference is when a model makes predictions to generate an output. Inference does not describe developing algorithms and statistical models that the computer system use to perform complex tasks. Correct. Machine learning is the science of developing algorithms and statistical models that computer systems use to perform complex tasks without explicit instructions. That's our ML6. An e-commerce company plans to deploy an AI recommendation system that uses customer data. Who? E-commerce company plans to deploy an AI recommendation system that uses customer data. So the AI agent that will take customer data and recommend them what they need, what's appropriate for them. The data is stored in Amazon S3. Okay. The company wants to comply with data governance and privacy regulations to identify and protect PII. What is PII? Personally identifiable information. Which AWS service will meet this requirement? It is Messi. I will be shocked if I don't see Messi here. I'll be like, restless, but it is Messi. So config is for configuration of compliance or stuff like that. Let me read. AWS config provides an overview of your AWS resource configuration. You can use AWS config to identify how resources were configured in the past. AWS config can identify settings that do not meet compliance standards, such as if a necessary bucket is publicly accessible. What do? They identify exposed S3. However, AWS config cannot identify and protect PII data. CloudTrail logs AWS service activity by tracking actions that are taken in your AWS account. CloudTrail cannot monitor data to ensure compliance and privacy regulations are followed related to PII. CloudTrail doesn't take any action. It only records everything that happened. It's like if a thief comes to your home and then you just sit there and then watch and write everything he does. He comes in, he wants in Jesus' name, I'm not speaking over my home. Well, so let me not use that example anyways. It's like you're watching somebody check stuff or do some stuff, but you're not doing anything. You're only recording it so somebody can come and see every single detail and take action. Okay, so trusted advisor. I would love to have that AWS trusted advisor if that was a person. Okay, trusted advisor inspects your AWS environment to provide guidance and recommendations on how to improve your account. Good. Trusted advisor can provide recommendations for cost savings, security improvements, or system enhancements. So that is cost, security, and system enhancement or performance. However, trusted advisor cannot or does not have specific data governance and privacy compliance capabilities to identify and protect PII. Our Macy, our lovely Macy, has AI in it, I believe. Macy uses ML to discover, monitor, and protect sensitive data that is stored in Amazon S3. You can use Macy to monitor the security posture of your S3 bucket. You can use Macy to identify and protect PII. You can use Macy to comply with data governance and privacy regulations. Let's go to number 7. Ready, number 7? Yes, we are. A company has users that develop ML models in Amazon's SageMaker canvas. After being developed, the models need to be reviewed and approved by a team of data scientists that operate in SageMaker Studio. Can we actually use this guy over here? Yeah? Copilot? Read summary. Let's answer the questions. The question on the screen. The screen on the left, please. Well, let's see. You are on question 7. Okay, let me try first before I see that. SageMaker Studio. Which AWS service can provide the data scientists with access to the ML models with the least operational overhead? Somebody made or prepared ML models in the canvas, and then in the studio, they need to see it. So what is a gate? Jumpstart model registry, DynamoDB, Elastic Container Registry. I don't think DynamoDB and ECR are the answer, so it's either Jumpstart or Model Registry. I know Jumpstart is for when they have already the template for you to jumpstart like basic, like some of the coding stuff or steps. But the canvas is for like for a person with no code experience like me. So you can just give it a natural language prompt and then it does the stuff for you. But those data scientists who are well knowledgeable with coding has to check it, has to approve it in SageMaker Studio. So let's try this. Let me see. Let me see here before I try that. Oh yeah, SageMaker. Wait, give me just short answer. So yeah, SageMaker model registry. We were right, guys. We're doing this. We are doing this. We are doing this. Okay, I'm excited for my tomorrow's exam, guys. Okay, I believe God will help me. I'll do this. I'm preparing well also. Okay, SageMaker Jumpstart is a hub that consists of hundreds of open source pre-trained models for a wide range of problem types. Hundreds of open source pre-trained models or templates. However, company cannot insert its models into SageMaker Jumpstart. Okay, SageMaker Model Registry is a fully managed catalog of ML models. You can use SageMaker Model Registry to manage model versions, associate metadata with models, and manage model approval status. You can use SageMaker Canvas to push build models to SageMaker Model Registry. SageMaker Studio, users can then access the same SageMaker Model Registry in the models in the registry. What? Can then access the same SageMaker Model Registry and the models in the registry. This solution requires the least operational overhead because the company needs only to register the models to implement the workflow. Okay, good. DynamoDB is obviously incorrect, but why? DynamoDB is a NoSQL key value database that is optimized for low latency reads and writes. You can use DynamoDB as a custom model registry that maintains model metadata. However, this solution requires additional operational overhead to design, configure, and scale the DynamoDB tables. Oh, so this guy also helps us with saving or like registry of model metadata, but we have the clue here, the key in our question, least operational overhead. Mostly in those questions, I have seen a lot of least operational overhead. Let's move on. Do we have another option here? No, that's all. Continue. Question 8. A regional utilities company wants to build what? A generative AI application. To do what? To produce personalized energy saving tips for customers. The company developed an application to create prompts by inserting customer inputs into a prompt template. Customer inputs are limited to selections from a series of pre-populated lists such as zip code, household size, and topics of interest. The security of company systems and customer data are critical. Which solution will provide the greatest security benefit against prompt injection attacks? Can we know what prompt injection attack is? Somebody, Copilot or somebody, can you define what this is, please? Okay, ask Copilot. Let me see. Oh yeah, ask Copilot. Okay, so prompt injection attacks are critical security concern in generative AI systems, especially those using LLMs, like those found in AWS services. While your current page does not directly define the term, it's part of AWS Certified AI Practitioner exam. I know, Copilot, which emphasizes understanding how AI systems can be manipulated and how to defend against such threats. What are prompt injection attacks? Go to the topic. Prompt injection occurs when a malicious user embeds deceptive instructions or content into a prompt, either directly or indirectly, to manipulate the behavior of an AI model. This can lead to unauthorized actions like executing unintended commands, data leakage, exposing sensitive information, bypassing safety filters, overriding ethical constraints. Why does it matter in AWS context? Because services like Amazon Bedrock, SageMaker, and AI coding agents are increasingly used to build intelligent applications. These systems rely on prompt-based interactions, making them vulnerable to injection if not properly secured. For example, a user might insert hidden instructions in a dataset or comment that uses the AI to behave maliciously. In one real-world case, attackers used prompt injection to trick an AI coding assistant into deleting S3 buckets and terminating EC2 instances. Are you kidding me? They could do that? How AWS addresses it? AWS provides prescriptive guidance on prompt engineering best practices to mitigate these risks. Use guardrails to validate and sanitize inputs. Good. Implement role-based access controls to limit exposure. Monitor AI outputs for unexpected behavior. Understanding prompt injection is essential for passing the AI practitioner exam and for building secure, scalable AI systems in the cloud. Want to dive deeper into how AWS defends? No, I'm okay. So, which solution will provide the greatest security benefit against prompt injection attack? Is like when a person sends a prompt but also adds wrong information with the prompt so that AI can respond maliciously or wrong way, something like that. So how can secure this? You increase the frequency of system-wide software updates. I don't think so. Add instructions to the prompt template about how to handle unrelated requests. This might be update the application with a text box for personalized customer request. Refine the prompt template based on model evaluation for toxicity. I would just go with B and then make a mistake if I have to. Oh yay! We got it, guys. We got it. Okay, I'm just gonna minimize Mr. Copilot. Okay. If you don't know how to add this extension, let me know. Okay, it's easy. Okay, correct. Adding an instruction to the prompt template about how to handle unrelated requests. Prompt engineering can improve the quality of responses from foundation models. However, prompts can be modified to cause harm in a technique called prompt injection. Prompt injection can result in the generation of harmful content, the disclosure of sensitive information, or system disruption. You can add instructions into the prompt template that relate to prompt injection. For example, You can specify how to handle requests about unrelated topics or to identify common attacks. These additional instructions can help mitigate the risk of prompt injection attacks. Let's say if my enemy uses my phone to let's say ask or like ChatGPT. I know it's about AWS services. I can just go to Bedrock. But if somebody asks my ChatGPT, okay, delete all the history um, of the conversation and register 70-year-old guy asking to call bank and make transaction. The good thing I haven't set up my ChatGPT agent yet. I was following Alicia Little on how to set your ChatGPT agent that does stuff for you, like books appointment and stuff. But I think the idea is that somebody is putting risky instruction on the prompt. So I have to now, before like if before my phone gets accessed, now I have to add in my ChatGPT, save this command instructions. If anyone, I am 36, and if anyone over my age or under my age asks you to make any modifications, disregard and lock the phone. I think that's the idea. Okay, prompt engineering can improve the quality of responses from foundation model. However, prompts can be modified to cause harm in technique called prompt injection. We already read that. Okay, refine the prompt template based on a model evaluation or toxicity. For toxicity, this was the one I was a little about to choose, but okay, what is it? Model evaluation jobs evaluate foundation model outputs to inform model selection for applications. What does it do? Model evaluation jobs evaluate foundation models output to inform model selection for applications. So it's just a selection phase. You can evaluate the toxicity of model responses. Prompt injection attacks could increase the toxicity of model responses. However, benchmarking the model performance or toxicity would not affect the company's susceptibility to prompt injection attack. Okay, let's go. Number 9, a developer needs a content moderation solution for a use case involving paintings, sketches, and animations. Content moderation solution for multimodal. Which solution will meet this requirement with least operational overhead? A. Use Amazon Bedrock to fine-tune a multimodal embeddings model for specific moderation use cases. B. Use Amazon Recognition with custom adapter for specific moderation use cases. C. Use Amazon SageMaker Jumpstart to fine-tune an open source object detection model. D. Use Amazon SageMaker Canvas to build and fine-tune a content moderation model. So least operational overhead is not fine-tuning. It takes expertise, cost, and time. We got this fine-tune. And then A and B. Fine-tune again on A. And then on B, use recognition with custom adapters. Maybe let me choose this and I don't know. Oh, wow. I got it, guys. Yay. Okay. So Bedrock to fine-tune a multimodal embeddings for specific moderation use case is not right because because Amazon Bedrock is a fully managed service that provides access to high-performing foundation models and set of tools to customize, evaluate, and safeguard the FMs. Amazon Bedrock provides access to multimodal embeddings model, such as Amazon Titan family of models. You can fine-tune Amazon Titan models for content moderation purposes. Fine-tuning a model in Amazon Bedrock would require you to provide a labeled data set. This solution would require additional operational overhead to fine-tune a general purpose model. So that's not least. It works, but it's not least operational overhead. Recognition with custom adapters for specific moderation use case. Recog is a fully managed AI service for image and video analysis. You can use Amazon Recog to identify inappropriate content in images, including drawings, paintings, and animations. Amazon Recognition offers content moderation enhancement through custom adapters that you can use for specific moderation use cases. That's good. About Jumpstart. SageMaker Jumpstart is a hub that contains hundreds of open source pre-trained models for many problem types. A solution that fine-tunes and deploys models from Jumpstart would require additional operational overhead. How about SageMaker Canvas? To build ML models without needing to write any code. This looks least operational overhead, but a solution that builds, fine-tunes, and deploys models from SageMaker Canvas would require additional operational overhead. Let's go. So that is recognition with wait, do I have to go back? Recognition with who? With custom adapters for specific moderation use case with custom adapters. Select the correct ML. Let me drink water, guys. Don't forget to drink your water also. Select excuse me, the correct ML learning technique from the following list for each task in the development of a self-driving car. Each ML learning technique should be selected one time: unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, supervised learning. Correct ML learning technique from the following task in the development of self-driving car. Okay, train the car to recognize specific signals, signs, and objects by using labeled data is, of course, a supervised learning, because we have a labeled data. Wait a minute. What are we doing? Oh, we have more questions. Okay. Okay, and then that detect anomalies or unusual patterns in sensor data without labeled examples. It is unsupervised because without labeled examples. Combine a small amount of labeled data with a large amount of unlabeled data to train the car to recognize different driving scenarios. Semi-supervised data. Now we can confirm and we can continue. I think we can just go. We know what it is. Select the correct Amazon SageMaker pipeline step from the following list for each task. Each SageMaker pipeline's step should be selected one time. Develop a model is, what is it? Isn't it, wait a minute. Identify model bias. Let me do the ones that I know so I can do the rest with the ones I don't know. Identify model bias is clarify check. Optimize hyperparameters. Perform feature engineering. Is process, wait. Optimize hyperparameters is processing. Perform feature engineering is tuning. Develop a model is training. Okay. Oh no, please don't do that to me. Okay, I mistake two of them. Okay, yeah, optimize hyperparameters is tuning, guys. Okay, why? SageMaker Pipelines is a tool that can build end-to-end ML pipelines. The pipelines are composed of steps. The steps define the actions that the pipeline should take. A clarify check step is based on SageMaker Clarify. You can use the clarify check step to conduct baseline drift checks for bias analysis and model explainability. You can use a processing step to perform data pre-processing also known as feature engineering. What is feature engineering? What is feature engineering? Feature engineering is a foundational concept in machine learning, and in the context of the AWS Certified AI Practitioner exam, it refers to the process of transforming raw data into meaningful inputs that improve model performance. Okay. You can use a training step to train a model. You can use a tuning step to create a hyperparameter tuning job. What is hyperparameter? I know it's something related to machine behavior. Okay, let's do that in the context of AWS Certified AI Practitioner exam. A hyperparameter refers to a configuration setting that controls how a machine learning model learns during training. Unlike model parameters, which are learned from data, hyperparameters are set before training begins and can significantly influence model performance. Okay, a hyperparameter tuning job runs multiple training jobs that each produce model version. What? What is it? You can use a processing step to perform data pre-processing, also known as feature engineering. You can use a training step to train a model. Okay. You can use a tuning step to create a hyperparameter. Okay. Tuning is something related to hyperparameter. Hyperparameter tuning jobs runs multiple training jobs, each produce model version. Okay, guys, it's not giving us any. We got two rights, but it's giving us X for everything. Okay. Okay. A company wants to create a virtual assistant to support customer inquiries. Company wants what? To create virtual assistant to support customer inquiries. A virtual assistant will provide answers in natural language. The answers will be based on documents that are stored in Amazon S3. The company wants to use a managed service. The company does not want to configure parameters for the models, embeddings, conversational features, or vector stores. Okay, so virtual assistant, natural language, manage the service. What is it? It's not comprehend. It has to be like virtual assistant, customer inquiry, natural language. I think that's Lex. I was just looking for something that says talks, something that talks. But since it's managed in natural language and virtual assistant, customer inquiry should be Lex. Huh? What? It's not Lex, guys. Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. I thought it was. Okay, let's see why not. Amazon Comprehend is a managed service that uses natural language processing tasks to extract key phrases, sentiments, or key findings in text. You can use custom text classification models to recognize intents in a conversational solution. However, Amazon Comprehend does not provide the capability to create a retrieval augmented generation solution without additional configuration and service integration. Amazon Q Business is a fully managed assistant powered by generative AI. You can customize Amazon Q Business to respond to inquiries, provide summaries, create content, and run tasks using your data. You can use Amazon Q Business to create a retrieval augmented generation solution that answers customer questions. You do not need to make model selection or configure. Oh, that's the clue, guys. Configure model parameters when you use Amazon Q Business. Additionally, you do not need to select the data ingestion technical details from Amazon S3, such as chunking or embedding properties. So it's super intelligent AI service that will respond customer inquiries, and it is operationally efficient, and it's not Lex because it doesn't say conversational support. It just says virtual assistant to support customer inquiry. Okay, guys. Yeah. SageMaker Jumpstart provides access to powerful foundation models that you can deploy and consume to implement a natural language processing solution. However, this solution would require you to build the entire retrieval and generation solution around the model endpoint. You can use Amazon Lex to create chatbots based on intents and entities. The chatbots could potentially provide answers based on internal documentation. That's what I said, guys. However, this solution would require you to create a conversational graph that defines intent and entities. You would need to connect the chatbot to a search capability for document retrieval. Therefore, this solution does not meet the requirements in the most operationally efficient way. Okay. 13. Company hosts its ML models on AWS. A company needs documents about security and compliance on AWS. Which AWS service will meet this requirement? I know it is Artifact, and then I don't want to go through the explanation. Which AWS service can analyze training data labels to identify potential bias? I think it is Clarify, and I don't think I want to go through the explanation because look at my minute, 45 minutes are left. Let's go. A legal company is building generative AI application. Okay, Q business. I just have to learn more about Q business. Okay, a legal company is building Gen AI app to assist with reviewing contract. Company wants to fine-tune the LLM to improve its relevancy for legal contract review. And what is the most likely outcome of fine-tuning the company's LLM on legal contract? It would be better, obviously, we'll know legal stuff. So model's vocabulary and understanding of legal terms will increase, of course. I believe we can answer with just one. Okay, one option. Models processing speed will increase. I don't think so. Doesn't affect. Models vocabulary and understanding of legal terms will decrease. No. Models processing speed will decrease. I don't think it's anything related to model speed. So it's just gonna be more focus and knowledge about that domain. Company wants to develop an internal solution that what summarizes several emails and long meeting notes. Good. The company wants to use the FM on Amazon Bedrock for the solution. Who does that? Which model property should be considered first when choosing a model? It says something like several emails. It also says something long meeting notes. Okay, it has to be something about context. I don't know what top P. I have to write top P. What is top sequence? Top K, whatever it is. Where is the temperature? I know temperature, but there is something that sequence top K. Okay, I need help on this one. I believe it's should I just answer? Context window or stop sequence? No, or top P. I don't know, guys. Should I just should I just ask Mr. Copilot? Where are you, Copilot? Okay, answer. Let me just say answer. You're on question 7. I'm not on question 7. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not gonna deal with you. Should I make a mistake? Oh no. Oh, I did not make a mistake. What is top P, guys? Top P is an inference parameter that does what? Controls the number of most likely tokens to sample when generating a response. Top P is about token, guys. Something about token. Which one is parameter? Okay, what does it say? The likelihood of output tokens in the generated summaries are important. It's output token, right? Okay. However, you do not need to consider this model property first when you choose a model. In this scenario, the model must read and summarize a significant amount of text. The context window, that's why. Therefore, you should consider the limits to the context size, context window first. What are subsequences anyways? is an inference parameter again that what controls when to interrupt text generation. Oh, stop is like interrupt, guys. These things are so good. They have like the clue in that. So when to interrupt text generation by providing a reference string. To interrupt the text generation after a certain sequence in the generated summaries is important. However, you do not need to consider this model property first when you choose a model. In this scenario, the model must read and summarize significant amount of text, which is context window. Context window is a model property that describes number of tokens that the model can accept in the context. For this scenario, the model must read and summarize significant amount of text. Yes, they do. It just needs to have a lot of emails and big meeting notes. Therefore, you should consider limits to the context size or context window first before you choose a model. Okay, let's go, guys. We did that review. 17. We're doing good, guys. A school wants to build what? An application that does what? Assist student in what? Solve maths problems in practice exams by using FM. Oh, just app that has a practice exams. App should assist students by providing reasoning and step-by-step explanation of why an answer in the practice exam is right or wrong. Which technique will most reliably improve the performance of the FM? Like multiple choice because it has to give a reasoning and step by step why the answer is. Wait a minute. No. Okay. Few shot oh yeah, retrieval augmented generation might be the answer. Chain of thought. What? What is chain of thought? Reasoning and step by step explanation. I think it's chain of thought because it has step by step. Okay, guys. Maybe you're right and I am right. Few shot is incorrect because few shot prompt engineering goes one step further than single shot by providing many examples of the task that you want to accomplish instead of a single example. Few shot prompting can further improve the performance of the FM compared to the single shot technique. However, few shot prompting is less reliable for performance improvement and less adaptable than chain of thought technique. Chain of thought technique is more appropriate for cases where the answer needs to be broken down into steps and elaborated upon. Okay? RAG is incorrect. It looks good, but it is a technique that allows the FM to access proprietary data. RAG provides more accurate and user-specific answers. However, RAG is not a prompting technique that improves the performance of the FM by providing reasoning and step-by-step explanation. Chain of thought is a prompt engineering technique that breaks down complex questions into smaller parts. Chain of thought prompting is a recommended technique when you have arithmetic and logical tasks that require reasoning. Chain of thought is the most reliable prompting technique because the model can break down the question into a series of steps instead of just providing the answer. Chain of thought, chain of thought. Oh, right, chain of thought because I like it. It's like one of the productivity hacks, chain of thought. Or you just plan, you keep planning, and then you do detailed, and then you give it a continuation of what to do after what steps. Which inference parameters affect the responses of a prompt? Temperature affects, embedding affects, image URI affect. I think everything have top P affect. So I'm gonna choose two. I think it's temperature. Top P is what was top P, guys? Output token. I don't think it affects. Stop sequence. That is, we don't have stop sequence. Top K. Do we have top K now? Inference instances. Where are embeddings, guys? Embeddings? I need to know what embeddings are. Let me just do this. Okay. Okay, guys, I don't know which ones are. So I know that one temperature affects. What is image URI? Okay. Okay, top P does not affect. I'm sure. Inference instances. I just go with that and make a mistake? Sorry, A and T. Embedding does not affect. Temperature is a parameter that controls the randomness and creativity of large language model. Responses: the higher temperature, the more randomness in the output. Embeddings are numerical values that represent us. Oh no, I was supposed to know what embeddings are. It's just numerical value that we put instead of words, or they put, the AI put, whoever puts it, that represent words as numbers so that a machine or computer system can understand and compare the similarity of different objects. Embeddings are not a parameter that affects the responses of prompt. They don't affect. It's just words in a number form. Okay, image URI. What is it? It's a parameter that references predefined Docker image. What is it again? Image URI. It is a parameter that references predefined Docker image URI. Okay, we have an image or Docker image that you can use as a built-in model image in Amazon SageMaker AI. Image URI is not an inference parameter that can affect the responses of prompt. It should affect the responses, but it's not a parameter maybe, or inference parameter. So P is a parameter that controls the sample size of the pool and the most likely candidate that a model considers for the next token. Top P can affect, oh yeah, it can affect the responses of a prompt. A lower value will decrease the size of the pool. Higher value will increase the size of the pool. I need to know more about top P, those things. Guys, wait a minute. Wait for it. Okay. Hi chat, what is top P in machine learning in AWS AI Practitioner? What is top K? What is stop sequence? And what is embedding? What is image URI? What is temperature? Give me analogy and also very, very, very good fourth grade example.
Absolutely. Let's break them. All right, let's start with top K. Imagine you're picking your favorite candies from a jar. If you only pick the top 3 candies that you like the most, that's similar to top K. In machine learning, top K means we're looking at the top K most likely options or predictions. Now, softmax is like having a big jar of different flavored jelly beans. Softmax helps you turn those flavors into probabilities so that you can see.
Okay, wait, can you change the analogy?
Embedding is.
Can you change the analogy for a household and kitchen analogy for a younger mom who juggles family, work, and singing and AWS Cloud, stuff like that?
Of course. Let's use a kitchen analogy. Top K is like choosing the top K ingredients for your favorite recipe. Instead of using every ingredient in the pantry, you only pick the top few that matter the most to make the dish delicious. Softmax is like adjusting the flavor of your dish. You can balance the ingredients so that each one has the perfect proportion, just like how Softmax turns raw scores into probabilities. Embedding is like having a secret recipe card that transforms each ingredient into a unique flavor profile. It's like turning each ingredient into a special code that helps the dish come together perfectly. Image URI is like having a photo of the final dish on your recipe card. It's the link or the image that shows what the end result looks like. Finally, temperature is like the level of spiciness you add to your dish. A higher temperature means more randomness in the flavors, and a lower temperature means a more predictable, balanced taste.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the next, guys. Time is flying. We have only 30 minutes and we're on 19. I wish you there is an extension meter, so let's go. Cloud Architect is building a recommendation engine for an e-commerce company website. A company uses vector embeddings to calculate the similarity between products. The solution needs to store millions of vector embeddings and support real-time similarity queries with low latency. Which AWS service will meet this requirement? MongoDB is one. Open search on this and this. I know it because I have done it before, but I have to know now why else are not the answer. Okay, Amazon Document DB is a fully managed native JSON document database. You can use Amazon Document DB to operate critical document workloads at scale without the need to manage infrastructure. Amazon Documents DB supports vector search. You can use vector search to store, index, and search millions of vectors with millisecond response times. Amazon Documents DB can perform real-time similarity queries with low latency. Why is Redshift not the answer for like recommendation engines that will need millions of vector embedding for real-time query? Amazon Redshift is fully managed columnar data warehouse. Amazon Redshift can run complex SQL queries for reporting purposes. Amazon Redshift can be used to store vector embeddings. However, you cannot use Amazon Redshift for low latency similarity queries. S3 is an object storage service. S3 can store unstructured data such as files and objects. However, Amazon S3 does not support complex data types such as vector embeddings that require real-time similarity queries with low latency. RDS, Amazon RDS for Oracle. RDS for Oracle is a relational database that supports Oracle. RDS for Oracle does not support storing vector embeddings and real-time similarity search. Relational database supports Oracle. Vector embedding. OpenSearch service is a fully managed service that you can use to deploy, scale, and operate OpenSearch on AWS. You can use OpenSearch service, vector, and database capabilities for many purposes. For example, you can implement semantic search, RAG with LLMs, recommendation engines, and multimedia searches. OpenSearch service supports storing vector embeddings for similarity search capabilities with low latency. It can also scale to store millions of embeddings and can support high query throughput. 20. Which type of prompt injection attack involves asking large language model not to follow its structured instruction and to provide output on a prohibited or harmful topic? Okay. Changing the input, exploiting friendliness, ignoring prompt template, prompting persona switches. Okay, ignoring the prompt template is the one, I believe. Why are the others not the answers? Changing the input attack format provides an LLM with malicious instructions that are written in an altered or non-human readable format like base64 encoding. This tactic is used to bypass application input filters that might prevent the model from processing harmful instruction. Changing the input does not directly involve asking LLM not to follow its structured instruction. Exploiting friendliness. An LLM responds directly depending on whether the LLM deems a user as friendly or adversarial. The exploiting friendliness attack format uses friendly language to prompt an LLM with malicious instructions. Exploiting friendliness does not directly involve asking the LLM not to follow its structured instruction. Ignoring the prompt template. Attack format asks a model through a prompt template to ignore its instructions. By instructing the model to ignore its prompt template, a user can instruct the LLM to provide output on a prohibited or harmful topic. Prompting persona switches. The prompting persona switch attack format makes the LLM adopt a new malicious persona. Prompting persona switches do not directly involve asking the LLM not to follow its structured instructions. 21. A manufacturing company wants to create a virtual assistant for internal employees. Virtual assistant. The virtual assistant should answer technical questions based solely on the company's proprietary engineering documentations. Company wants to minimize model hallucination. Company wants to reduce the efforts that are associated with the data preparation. Which solution will meet this requirement with the least operational overhead? Not fine-tuning, obviously. Use foundation model that was trained on data relevant. I don't think so. Implement RAG might be. What else we have? Use in context learning. by writing significant instructions for the model inside the prompt. It might be RAG because they wanted to use proprietary docs and they don't want hallucination, and they want to reduce efforts that are associated with data preparation, is like fine-tuning needs data preparation. And then, yeah, foundation models that was trained on data relevant to manufacturing domain, like it's relevant, but it's not actually the company's proprietary engineering documentation. I believe this is the one, and I am right. Okay, fine-tuning increased performance in domain-specific tasks. It supports the generation of more contextual response. However, it will not enforce responses to be based solely on proprietary documentation. It also requires input data from specialized domain experts to create and validate a data set. This is not the one. The FMs, okay, that was trained. FMs are powerful tools that can generalize across a variety of natural language tasks with high performance. However, FMs are prone to hallucination. Responses from FMs cannot be based solely on proprietary documentation that is private to the company and was never used during the FM's training. RAG, you can use RAG to search through company's proprietary document and retrieve relevant results to use as context for the text generation tasks. Okay. The text generation task will be grounded to the contextual information that is specific to the company. RAG solutions reduce hallucinations and provide grounded responses through the retrieval process. RAG requires less operational overhead to prepare a data set compared to fine-tuning or training a model. This solution meets the requirement to enforce responses to be based on the company's engineering documentation. Okay, in context learning is a prompt engineering technique that you can use to increase model performance by providing instructions and examples to the model inside the prompt. This solution does not ensure that responses will be based on relevant and proprietary documents. To make this solution work, you must provide relevant document portions as context inside the prompt through RAG. Therefore, this is not the one. We have RAG. A company needs to provide information about its custom ML model for audit purpose. Okay, audit purpose. The information needs to include details about the model's training and performance. Which AWS service or feature will meet this requirement? It is CARD. So it is CARD. Yeah. Bedrock guardrail. It helps to manage generative AI application. It will just filter out unwanted topics or contents. It adds safeguards to the model. It does not store information about model training and performance for audit purpose. SageMaker model card used to record information about ML model. It includes information such as training detail, evaluation metrics, and model performance. Ground truth is a service that uses human workforce. Ground truth, human workforce, humans working in the ground. Let's memorize it like that. Ground truth, humans working in the ground, like human workforce, to create accurate labels. Ground truth with human, because humans have ground truth, the main truth, to create accurate labels for data that you can use to train model. SageMaker ground truth does not store information about model training and performance for audit purpose. Company collected hourly temperature readings for the past 30 days. The company wants to train an ML model to predict temperature over the next 24 hours. Which algorithm will meet this requirement? I think it is forecasting algorithm. Okay, I think it's this guy over here. Why? Because it's a future prediction. Okay, clustering is unsupervised ML method that identifies discrete groupings within data. The K means algorithm is a type of clustering algorithm. The K-means algorithm is a type of clustering algorithm. However, the requirement is not to group similar objects together in a group. The scenario requires a solution that produces predictions for time series data. Anomaly detection algorithm is an unsupervised learning algorithm that you can use to identify anomalies in a dataset. Random cut forest is type of anomaly detection algorithm. The scenario is not an unsupervised ML problem. Scenario requires a solution that produces predictions for time series data. Forecasting algorithm. This is correct because you can use forecasting algorithms to forecast one-dimensional time series data. An example of a forecasting algorithm is DeepAR forecasting. DeepAR. DeepAR. Temperature readings over a period of time is an example of one-dimensional time series data. Therefore, a forecasting algorithm is the most suitable solution. Classification algorithms are a type of supervised learning that groups data into classes or categories. The scenario is not a classification problem, however, it requires solution that produces prediction of time series data. Company wants to deploy an AI model to detect fraudulent transactions. Before releasing the model, company must test model performance. Which stage of the model development pipeline focuses on assessing model performance? Data pre-processing, model evaluation, model monitoring, model deployment. It is model evaluation. It has to be. Why is it not data pre-processing? In data pre-processing state, you clean, partition, and balance raw data before you train the model. In the data pre-processing stage, you do not test or validate model performance. You test and validate model performance later in the development pipeline after you make it. Okay, model evaluation is the correct answer. It includes assessing how well the model achieves its objectives by testing performance, bias, and explanations before deployment. Therefore, the model evaluation stage meets the requirement. You perform this stage to validate the model before release. Model monitoring is not the answer because it occurs after model deployment. This stage monitors a model to identify data quality issues, model quality issues, bias drift, and feature attribution drift. Model evaluation stage occurs before deployment or release of the model. Okay. And deployment is a stage after model training, tuning, and evaluation. You deploy the model into production after the model is ready to make predictions. However, deployment stage occurs after evaluation and is not when the model testing occurs. 25. Which factors can impact the latency of invoking large language model? Select 2. Okay, the latency, nature of tokens in the prompt, configuration of top K parameters, configuration of temperature parameter, number of tokens in the response, number of tokens in the prompt. I think this is the one because I have done it. Why, if the tokens number is like higher or low, then the LLM speed or latency will decrease or decrease. Is that why? Let's see. We got the question right, but let's see why. The longer the input prompt, the more processing is required by the LLM before the LLM can output the first token. That makes sense. The number of tokens in the input prompt will impact the latency of the LLM invocation. Configuration of the top K. This top K guy, I'm not getting it, what it is. Configuration will alter the number of most likely candidates that the model considers in the next token. Next token. Top K, next token. The configuration of the top K parameter will not impact the latency of the LLM invocation. Configuration of the temperature parameter. Configuration will affect the shape of the probability distribution for the predicted output and influence the likelihood of model selecting lower probability outputs. The configuration of temperature parameter will not impact the latency of the LLM invocation and number of tokens in the response. LLMs generate one output token at a time. Therefore, each token indicates that the LLM needs to be invoked again. The number of tokens in the response will impact the latency of the LLM invocation. Configuration of the top P parameters. Configuration will affect percentage of most likely candidates in the model that the model considers for the next token. Candidates for the next token. The configuration of top P parameter will not impact latency of LLM. Let's go. 26. An ML engineer deployed what? Let me drink water. Foundation model and noticed that the format of the foundation model's response needs improvement. ML engineer wants to implement a technique to improve the format of the FM response. Okay, response is more of which technique will meet this requirement most cost effectively. It's like prompt engineering. Yeah, let's go. It is. Healthcare company must comply with a compliance policy. I feel like I'm gonna go back and see why those are not. Why is it not RAG though? You can use RAG to augment prompts. You know what? I feel like I need to go ahead. Healthcare company must comply with a compliance policy. Policy says that data that is stored on Amazon S3 should not traverse the internet when transferring to an ML Amazon EC2 instance for model training purposes. Which solution will meet this requirement? I believe it is like a gateway endpoint, but I'm not sure. It is. Why is it though? A gateway endpoint provides secure connection from a VPC to Amazon S3 for Amazon DynamoDB. An S3 gateway endpoint provides connectivity to Amazon S3 from a VPC. You can deploy an MLEC2 instance from within the VPC for model training. This solution ensures that the data that is transferred between the EC2 instances and the S3 stays within the AWS network and does not traverse or cross the internet. S3 access points are network endpoints that are attached to a bucket. You can use S3 access points to perform S3 object operation. S3 access points alone cannot provide a method to transfer without traversing the internet. VPC flow logs. You can use VPC flow logs to capture IP traffic going to and from a network interface into a VPC. You can use what? You can use VPC flow logs to capture IP traffic going to and from a network interface into a VPC. VPC flow logs cannot provide a method to transfer data without traversing the internet. Transit gateway. You can use transit gateway to connect multiple VPCs together to make the VPCs act as a single network. You can use a transit gateway to streamline network traffic. Traffic gateway alone cannot provide a method to transfer data Amazon S3 without traversing. Let's go. News company wants what? To increase its click-through rate by providing the most relevant news to each subscriber. Which AWS service will meet this requirement with the least operational overhead? New company increase click-through rate by providing most relevant news to each subscriber. Relevant. So it's gonna be like to each subscriber that is like personalized, I believe. Okay, because comprehend is extract insights by recognizing key phrases, entities, language, sentiment, cannot provide recommendations. Personalize, use data to generate item recommendation for users. It provides most relevant news to each subscriber. It is designed for this use case. You can access the service directly through an API. It provides the least operational overhead. Canra is fully managed service, intelligent search, semantic and contextual understanding capabilities. Canra can decide whether document is relevant to search query. You cannot use Bedrock as a recommendation engine. Okay. Bedrock, fully managed service that provides access to high-performing FMs. Amazon Bedrock also provides a set of tools to customize, evaluate, and safeguard the models. You could use Bedrock to implement the recommendation engine. However, this solution would require model customization, or it's not least overhead. Bedrock can help us make the engine or the FM. We can create FM, or we can just use it and fine tune it to provide recommendations, but it's not least operational overhead. Let's go next. Company wants to use Amazon Bedrock to create drafts of documents. A company wants to what? To use Amazon Bedrock to create drafts of documents. What is the first step that the company should take? Drafts of document. Select an input token for quota generation. Select foundation model, obviously. You gotta first select foundation model. Compare. Okay, we got it. Why now select input token quota for generation? Token is sequence of characters that the model will use. Wait, is there any way we can oh my goodness, wait, pause the exam. Let's pause the exam and try to, because we're gonna need more time. Paused. Pause. How do we we can't let's see. So wait a minute. Can we do back? I don't think we can extend. So I'm just gonna do we're going through each options and going through the clarifications. So yeah, let's just use the time we are left with, and then we will restart it to do the rest. Hopefully it won't wait where it was, but it will give us another set of 65 questions. This time we will do fast, since we did the 30 questions and with explanation. We can skip through the one that we already did to do the rest of the 35 questions. So let's resume, guys. Okay, the company wants to use, okay, craft, yeah. So input token. A token is a sequence of characters that the model will use to predict a single unit of meaning. Based on the FM you choose, you would need to select an input token quota. I'm just gonna pause this for a second, okay? Okay, let's get to work. Let's continue. So select an input token quota for generation. Okay, based on FM you choose, you would need to select an input token quota for generation. However, you must select an FM before you select the input token quota. I don't even know what input token quota is. It is what? Token is a sequence of characters that the model will use to predict single unit of meaning. The number of words, whatever it is, okay? Okay, we have to decide that after we choose the foundation model. An FM is an AI model that already has many parameters and is already trained on massive amounts of data. You can use an FM in many use cases. The first step is to select the most suitable FM for your use case. You would select FM to generate text. Vector database supports the generative AI model by offering a way to store and manage highly dimensional data in a more efficient way. Although you can use a vector database with the LLM, the first step is to select an FM for your use case. And then embedding for generation is embeddings can compress information by changing the input into a vector of numerical values. Then you can use embeddings to compare similarities between differing objectives by using the shared numerical values. This step is taken based on FM that you select. Therefore, you must select an FM. Okay, let's go. Data scientists invoked an embeddings model by using the phrase, "the movie was really great." What is the output from the model? A word that indicates the sentiment of the phrase, value that rates the plausibility of the phrase, an image that, wait a minute, no, wait a minute. I have not answered yet. Oh my goodness, how did I go? Okay. Okay, actually I have answered this, so I got X. So when a data scientist invokes an embeddings model by using the phrase, "the movie was really great," what are we doing? What is the output from the model? It is not an embeddings where it's not a word that indicates the sentiment of the phrase. An embeddings model generates a numerical representation of the text. Output is an array of numerical values. The output of an embeddings model is not a word that indicates the sentiment of the phrase. A value that rates the plausibility of the phrase. An embeddings model generates a numerical representation of text. The output is an array of numerical values. The output of an embeddings model is not a value that rates the plausibility of the phrase. Image. The output of the embeddings model is not an image that depicts the phrase. Correct. The embeddings model generates a numerical representation of the text. The output is an array of numerical value. Wait, what is the difference between vector and embedding? Hi chat, what is the difference between vector and embeddings? Embeddings.
Sure, let's dive into that. In our kitchen analogy, embeddings are like the secret code or the special flavor profile that each ingredient has. Just like how each ingredient can be represented by a unique combination of flavors and aromas, embeddings represent words or items as vectors in a way that captures their meaning and relationships. So instead of just thinking of ingredients as separate items, embeddings let you see how similar or different they are to each other, just like how some spices might be more closely related in flavor than others. I hope that helps clarify things a bit more.
No, don't use analogy, but what is the difference between embeddings and vector? Are they the same thing or tokens?
Got it. So embeddings and vectors are closely related, but not exactly the same. An embedding is essentially a learned representation of data, like words, images, or items in a high dimensional space. It captures the meaning or characteristics of that data. A vector, on the other hand, is the actual numerical representation of that embedding. In other words, the embedding is the concept, and the vector is the specific set of numbers that represent that concept. Tokens are different again. Tokens are the individual pieces of data that get converted into embeddings. For example, in natural language processing, a token could be a word or even a part of a word. Once these tokens are processed, they're converted into embeddings, which are then represented as vectors. So in summary, embeddings are the meaningful representations, vectors are the numerical forms of those embeddings, and tokens are the raw pieces of data.
Okay, I hope that will make sense one day, but tokens are what? A text or a word? Embeddings are numerical representation of that word or text, and vector is what? Something, I don't know. Let's go, continue. Okay, and then the good thing, the time shows that it increased to 51 minutes, and I was like, what? That's good. A sales representative stores customer contracts in PDF format in an Amazon accessory bucket. What happened? Sales rep stores customer contract in PDF format in S3. Sales rep needs a solution to summarize document content and answer questions based on information in the document. Okay, Sales rep does not have coding experience. Which AWS service will meet this requirement? Okay, so let's see the options. I was really hoping to see Canvas, but it's not here. QuickSight. So it's gonna be QuickSight or Q Business. Let me ask. What is the difference between Amazon QuickSight and Amazon Q Business?
Absolutely. Amazon QuickSight and Amazon QB are both AWS services, but they serve different purposes. Amazon QuickSight is a business intelligence service. It helps you visualize your data, create interactive dashboards, and perform analytics. It's great for turning raw data into meaningful insights and visualizations. Amazon Q, or Amazon QB, is more focused on AI and machine learning. It's designed to help you build, deploy, and manage AI-powered applications. It can assist with natural language processing, AI model training, and other AI-related tasks. In summary, QuickSight is all about data visualization and business intelligence, while Amazon QB is geared towards AI and machine learning applications.
Okay, so I don't know if she gave comprehensive answer, but I think it's Q Business. I thought it was, but I also asked Mr. Copilot. Shows the correct answer is Q Business. Okay. QuickSight is business intelligence BI tool that you can use to build reports and dashboards primarily on structured data. QuickSight does not have a built-in functionality to extract text data from PDF to summarize and answer questions based on data. TextRact is a service that can detect and extract text data from documents. However, Amazon TextRact does not provide features to summarize text data or to answer questions based on document content. Amazon Q Business is a fully managed generative AI assistant. You can use Amazon Q Business to summarize text data and answer questions based on document content. That's good. Amazon Q Business can directly analyze PDF documents that are stored in Amazon S3. Additionally, Amazon Q Business provides natural language interface that does not require. Oh, that's nice. I like Q Business. Kendra is intelligent search, semantic search, intelligent search that indexes set of documents. You can use Amazon Kendra to identify relevant documents based on semantic search. However, Mrs. or Mr. Kendra does not have functionality to summarize text. Wow, Q Business is very smart. Which strategies help? We are on 32, guys. We're doing good. We're halfway there. Which strategies help mitigate hallucinations and responses that are generated by LLMs? A. Apply higher temperature. No. B. Incorporate contextual information into the prompt. Um, by using retrieval augmented generation RAG with validated data sources. Yes. Use foundation models with the lower number of parameters. No. Use a clear prompt that asserts the expected course of action for the model when faced with unknown or uncertain answers. And E. Impose limits on the number of output tokens and define stop sequences during. I think those are the two. Yeah, the RAG in the prompts or instruction on what to do when they face on unexpected or unrelated instruction. 33. A company wants to use large language model to learn language that is specific to the company's domain. Learn language. Company has a large amount of unlabeled data that contains domain-specific language. Which solution will meet these requirements with the least operational overhead? Okay, oh God. So it's not labeled, so what are we gonna do with it? Conduct continued pre-training on the LLM by using the company's data. It's not fine-tuning, it's not least operational overhead. Training a new LLM is not also least operational overhead. Provide the company's data as a context in the prompt for the LLM. We can't because it's not labeled. We're just gonna do continued pre-training on the LLM by using maybe. Yeah, I get scared when I click confirm button because it might show me red, but I should not. So continued pre-training improves a model's performance by providing unlabeled data so the model can learn domain-specific knowledge. This solution will train the model on the company's data. Then the model can respond with language that is specific to the company's domain. Costly and time saving is new, LLM training, and then providing the company's unlabeled data as a context in the prompt is like it would not meet this requirement if the model would not learn domain specific language from large amounts of company data in the prompt. So we got the answer though. That's going to be pre-training of the LLM or the model uh, to improve model's performance. 34. A global communication company is doing what? They're building an AI assisted tool to do what? To scale customer chat capabilities. All generated chat responses must be positive, friendly, and unbiased. Which evaluation approach will identify foundation models that will meet this requirement at scale? So we are evaluating, right? Evaluation. We are on the evaluation step. Are we on guardrail step or evaluation step? Okay. SageMaker clarify. SageMaker clarify to detect bias in a historical customer chat. I think this is the one. Why not the others? Service cards are details of the model, make uses details. It does not like mitigate or it does not identify which foundation models will produce only positive, friendly, unbiased responses. Amazon augmented AI, A2I, to review responses before sending to customers is not at scale. They won't meet at scale everything being evaluated by human in the middle. No. Use Amazon SageMaker Clarify to quantify model toxicity on a test data set. This won't directly identify foundation model that will meet this requirement. So the answer is gonna be, what is the answer, guys? The answer is SageMaker Clarify to detect bias in a historical cast. Oh no! Oh, look at me. I look like I'm getting the right answer when I emphasize how I speak. So this is the guy. This is the one. Use Amazon SageMaker to clarify, to quantify. Oh no, SageMaker Clarify to quantify model toxicity on a test data set. SageMaker Clarify is a feature of SageMaker that helps you explain how a model makes predictions and whether data sets or models reflect bias. SageMaker Clarify also includes a library to evaluate FM performance. The foundation model evaluation, FMEval library, includes tools to compare FM quality and responsibility metrics, including bias and toxicity scores. FMEval can use built-in test data sets, or you can provide a test data set that is specific to your use case. So why is it not A again? SageMaker Clarify is a feature of SageMaker that can explain model responses and detect bias in training data sets or model responses. You can use this to identify bias in historical customer chat if you are preparing the historical data for training or fine-tuning. However, this evaluation approach would not help you identify which FM meets the requirement. Oh, I see, I see, I see. We're just evaluating one FM that used, that has been helping as a chatbot, taking the history from its content and then like evaluating how it was in the past. But we are looking to choose among multiple here. We're using clarify to quantify model toxicity on test data set. Medical device company recently added an AI generated. Let me take a note of the mistake. So that was SageMaker clarify. This SageMaker stuff comes a lot. SageMaker clarify, SageMaker Canvas Studio, all that. So I think I need to study more with the time I have. So now a medical device company recently added an AI generated product overviews to its an online product catalog. So that's an AI that will give you overview of the medical equipment or will give you details. The company wants to incorporate industry specific terminology. You should, of course, to improve the output that are generated. An ML team has access to a large volume of unlabeled industry specific standards and research. Isn't that well, customize the foundation model? Wait a minute. Which ML technique will meet this requirement? Large. Number one, they have large volume of unlabeled industry specific standards and research. So which ML technique will meet this requirement? What are we trying to do? We're trying to make that review be or include more of medical terms, is it, or company specific terms? So they have that data already in the research standards. So how can we do that overview, or how can we do that AI or chatbot to review it in a more company specific terminology? We do prompt engineering to include an edited sample in the next prompt. We do B, we use retrieve augmented generation to include relevant terminology. C, we customize the foundation model by using continued pre-training. That's what I was looking. If it is unlabeled and if it's large volume, it's continued pre-training. I was gonna say RAG, but RAG, the document, they have to have a document that is proprietary document that is labeled and that has full information. But this is like large volume of unlabeled industry specific standard and research. And customizing the foundation model by using instruction-based fine-tuning on the industry dataset. We can't fine-tune with unlabeled data. I don't know if we can. Yeah. Okay. So, prompt engineering to include an edited sample in the next prompt. Prompt engineering is a technique used to optimize the inputs to FMs with the goal of generating better response. To include an example output in a prompt can help model understand output format and style in the relationship of inputs and outputs. An FM does not retain context between prompts. An agent or Gen AI application can retain information for a sequence of prompts. However, prompt engineering does not change model's response beyond a single prompt or series of actions. Therefore, to include the sample in the next prompt will not improve the model's ability. It's just for one chart that will improve the overview. So it has to have, the whole model has to have that information in it to learn it. RAG incorporates relevant search results as context from prompt to an FM. You can index the internal data and industry documentation as a RAG source and search for relevant contexts to include in a prompt. You could search the industry dataset for relevant terminology and include the terminology as a context in each prompt, that like each. However, this technique does not improve the model's ability to incorporate specific industry-specific terminology in future responses. How about customizing the foundation model FM by using continued pre-training on the dataset? This can help The model understands industry-specific terminology. You can use large unlabeled data sets to perform continued pre-training. You can continue pre-training the FM by using the unlabeled industry data sets. Feature responsive from the resulting custom model will more consistently incorporate terminology from the industry dataset. How about customizing the foundation model by using instruction-based fine-tuning on the industry dataset? Instruction-based fine-tuning uses labeled example to train an FM. You can use this method to customize responses based on task-specific data. Model parameters can adjust based on tasks that are encountered during fine-tuning on a labeled data. Fine-tuning a model would incorporate relationships between inputs and outputs that are encountered in the fine-tuning dataset. However, instruction-based based fine-tuning requires labeled dataset. Large industry dataset in the scenario is unlabeled dataset. Let's go. Okay, now we have another company that wants to host several web apps on EC2. Web apps need to make calls to the FMs in Amazon Bedrock. For audit purposes, company wants to use mechanism that automatically records all the calls that are made by the web apps to Amazon Bedrock. The mechanism must capture the user and the role of each API call and inference call timestamp. What is it? If there is no CloudTrail, I will be like, no. So that's CloudTrail, we know. What is the primary purpose of Gen AI is to generate new content. Generate. Okay, how about, well, I need to see why it's not others. To make predictions based on existing data, traditional ML focuses on training models. To make predictions based on, that's traditional ML, on existing data. Making predictions is not the primary purpose of generative AI. Okay. What is computer vision? So computer vision is a field of AI that focuses on giving computers the ability to interpret and understand visual data. Improving computer vision is not a primary purpose of Gen AI. How about to enhance natural language processing? NLP is ML technologies that gives computers the ability to interpret, manipulate, and comprehend human language. Enhancing NLP is not the primary purpose of generative AI, but to create new content. Simple. Gen AI is a type of AI that aims to create new content such as images, text, music, or conversation. New. It's taking our creativity because we got too busy paying bills. Companies recently started developing what? ML solution by using Amazon SageMaker. They're doing it from scratch. The company does not have a skilled workforce to write scripts for data cleansing and preparation activities. Which SageMaker feature can the company use for data cleansing and preparation with minimal requirement to write scripts? Is it Wrangler? Is it? Wait a minute. Which SageMaker feature can the company use for data cleansing, preparation with minimal requirement? A Wrangler guy, I think he does that cleansing and preparation, I believe, if I have read it correctly. Feature stories to buy news or something. Clarifies to check for bias or to explainability. Pipelines is like set of steps, maybe. Yeah, you're right. You can use SageMaker Data Wrangler to what? To import, cleanse, analyze, and transform data. SageMaker Data Wrangler has a graphical UI and is a low-code, no-code. Yay! I love low-code, no-code. LCNC. Let me do that. LCNC. Write LCNC if you're following. Solution for data cleansing and preparation. SageMaker Feature Store is used to create, store, share, and manage features that are used in ML models. Features are the data for an ML algorithm to learn patterns from. SageMaker Feature Store does not help with data cleansing and transformation activities. It's not Laundry. Our Laundry is Mr. Wrangler. SageMaker Clarify, it uses to measure model explainability and to detect bias. You can use SageMaker Clarify to detect retraining and post-training bias. You cannot use SageMaker Clarify for data cleansing or preparation. Pipeline is to create MLOps workflow. You can use SageMaker Pipeline to create directed acyclic graph DAG, directed acyclic graph, to define the continuous integration and continuous delivery CI/CD pipeline. You would not use SageMaker Pipeline to clean and analyze data without writing a code. Okay. An ML engineer wants to what? Improve performance of who? The LLM, while keeping the cost low. Select and order the model improvement technique from the following list, from the most cost-effective to the least cost-effective, which is fine-tuning. Each model improvement technique should be selected one time. So most cost-effective is obviously prompt engineering. And then the next cost-effective would be RAG. You can just give it a document and then it will tell you from the document. The least cost-effective is instruction-based fine-tuning. Yeah, it's expensive and it's a lot of data. We know this, so we're gonna go ahead. 40. An AI specialist wants to do what? They want to train a model to navigate a complex and predictable environment by learning effective strategies through trial and error. It is reinforcement. Which ML technique can the AI specialist use to meet this requirement? Reinforcement, trial and learning, and error. Let's go, guys. We gotta go. Healthcare company is developing its own ML algorithm to train a model to predict health outcomes based on genetic data. I want to know what it looks. The company undergoes compliance audits that require transparency into model training and performance. Transparency is like explainability, like clarify, right? So that is clarify and model card, is it? I don't know. When it's a lot, I'm scared. Augmented AI is like human in the loop, checked by humans too. Service card is not even SageMaker. I don't know. SageMaker ground through a lot of ground information from people to check, like subject matter expert. Oh my god, I'm just gonna do this. What is the question? Which AWS features or services or features will meet what requirement? Requirement of audit, transparency into model training and performance. The model card will tell us how the model is made, why and how it makes decisions, why it chooses what it chooses, and clarifies bias and stuff, training and performance. Oh my goodness, guys. I think I'm just gonna, yeah, I got it, guys. SageMaker ground truths improves the quality of large level data sets by providing a workflow and human resources for labeling activities, but this solution does not provide visibility into model training or performance. SageMaker Clarify provides insight into bias and feature importance. You can use SageMaker Clarify to produce baselines and reports to submit audits. AI service cards provide documentation on AWS AI services. Documentation includes intended use case, limitations, and best practice. You can use this information to build responsible AI solutions. Additionally, AWS AI service cards might support audits of applications that are built using this specific service. However, the service card will not provide insights into the training or performance of models that use custom algorithms. SageMaker model cards, they record intended uses, risk rating, training detail, evaluation metric, and performance information. They can automatically populate training information for models that are trained in SageMaker. Edits are tracked in new model version. You can export model cards and use cards to share with stakeholders or to support compliance audits. A company is building what? ML application that can evaluate customer feedback and classify the feedback as positive or negative. Should we comprehend or something? Oh, it's binary. Okay. Multi-class image. Okay, it's binary because it's positive or negative. What are the multi-class? Use case to classify cars based on seating capacity. Utility would have multiple classes. Image classification, models to recognize and classify images. To recognize cats instead of images. Regression to predict numeric values by understanding the relationship between the input variables and the output. You can use regression in a use case to predict height based on the weight of a person. You will not use regression model to classify feedback into two classes such as positive and negative. Let's go. Company applies what? Human-centered design. Isn't it ground truth if there are human-centered stuff on it? But don't rush. For its AI application by using reinforcement learning from human feedback, RLHF. It's ground truth. Okay. The company wants to create what? Trusted training data sets to improve the LLM that the company is developing by incorporating human feedback. That's it. Ground truth. Workforce, human workforce. Okay, let's go. Company wants to what? To build a chatbot that engage in natural language conversation with customer. Is it Lex? Company wants to implement managed solution. Which AWS service will meet this requirement? That's Lex. Because it has natural language conversation with customer. It is managed solution. It's chatbot. So that's Lex. But we always need to read the whole sentence, the whole question. Okay. Financial companies developing an ML model that predicts loan eligibility for customers. Company wants a solution that can identify biases in both training data and model prediction. Okay, which AWS service will meet these requirements? The system that will check for biases in both training data and model, no, biases in both training data and model prediction is Clarify usually. It's Clarify. Okay, model monitor, I don't know. I don't think so, but why is it not a model monitor? This one establish automated alert system that alerts when there are variations in models quality such as data drift and anomalies. You can use this to monitor or deployed models, see, for performance issues. This is a deployed model. The first one is not a deployed model. It's before it gets deployed, identify potential biases in both training data and model predictions. Is with Clarify. Insights. Okay. What are the disadvantages or limitations of working with generative AI? Hallucination is number one. Knowledge cutoff is number two. Knowledge cutoff means it will know only until the time that document, or wait a minute, it has a time limit. It doesn't know from some time. That means they are pre-trained on static data sets where the data has a data limit. Therefore, the knowledge that is learned has a data limitation. Which metric can assess foundation model performance in the context of text summarization? Is it BERT score? No, it's ROG N or something. F1 is for classification. Okay. Classification accuracy. ROG metric that can evaluate quality of text. Okay, let's go. Utility companies building what? AI model to do what? To predict electricity demand. Company has a large labeled data set of historical demand data that includes factors that affect demand such as weather conditions. Which type of learning method should the company use for the model? So it already has a data, labeled data, right? And then they're gonna build AI model to predict electricity. It has to be supervised, right? Labeled, yeah, has to be supervised. I think so. Yeah. Let's just go. Case study 5 questions. Companies exploring what? Gen AI foundation models to build domain-specific text-based solution. The solution will be used internally to generate blog posts and marketing content that will be published on the company's external website. What is the disadvantage of using generative FM to generate blog posts? Inaccuracy can be, yeah, responsiveness, ability increases time. So yeah, inaccuracy. There might be inaccuracy. That's why people have to check it. Which AWS service can the company use to choose Gen AI FM? Bedrock, right? Yeah, to choose. To make is SageMaker. To choose is Bedrock. Okay. Which technique can the company use to ensure that the generated content includes industry-specific terminology? Which technique can the company use to ensure that the generated content includes industry uh, domain adaptation fine-tuning? Because I don't see RAG. Yeah, if I see RAG, that would be RAG, but because I don't see RAG, companies exploring generative AI foundation to build domain-specific text-based solution. Okay, solution will be used internally to generate blog posts and marketing domain content that will be published on the company's external website. Okay. Which technique can the company use to ensure that the generated content includes industry-specific terminology? The solution will be used internally. Why is it instruction-based fine-tuning? Why is it not supervised learning? Domain-specific, text-based. I'll just go by domain adaptation fine-tuning. And then, yeah, why is it not the others though? Not the others. So instruction-based fine-tuning is a technique that uses labeled examples to improve model performance on a specific task. You cannot use instruction-based fine-tuning to ensure that the model learns industry-specific terminology. Instead, you can use this technique to adapt the model for a downstream task. Oh, downstream task. Instruction-based fine-tuning is for downstream task. Supervised learning is a method to train model on a labeled data set. With supervised learning, the model learns to predict outputs based on the inputs that are provided. You cannot use supervised learning to ensure that the generated content includes industry-specific terminology. So that's just a domain adaptation fine-tuning. Let's go. Okay. How can the company assess the quality of generated content before publishing the content online? Sure, incorporate human evaluations. Those answers might be incorporating human evaluation or implementing RAG is not only to assess, is it? Quality of generated content before publishing the content online. Guardrail is to kind of guard. Let me see. I don't know. Yeah, it is. So why is it not guardrail? So I was almost gonna choose guardrail. Guardrail is to filter and monitor inappropriate or offensive content in user inputs or model generated outputs. You can use guardrails for content moderation. However, guardrails would not help assess the quality of generated content. The question says generated. How can the company assess the quality of generated content before publishing the content online? It's already generated. Which AWS service or framework can the company use to evaluate the level of ownership required for the AI solution? The level of ownership or responsibility, is it this one? I don't know what. Yeah, it is. Generative AI Security Scoping Matrix is a framework that you can use to classify generative AI use cases. You can use the framework to determine the level of ownership required for a use case and to prioritize security concerns. Okay, let's go. We have 15 minutes and I'm sure we'll do this. Got another question here, number 54. A financial company has recently expanded globally. Oh, good for them. And they want to build an AI-assisted chat application to scale customer service capacity. The company is subject to multiple regulations and compliance frameworks. Company must incorporate responsible AI principles to the solution, which approaches align with responsible AI principles. Train on raw historical data, no use only open source models, not really test responses for data leakage, maybe monitor responses for bias, maybe use all available customer data, maybe not. So I'm sure these are the two ones. Let's just go. Data scientist is building an ML model to do what? To predict the annual sales volume of a specific product that a company sells. Which model evaluation matrix will meet this requirement? What are we doing? We're gonna get an ML model to help us predict how much annual sales will we have. Sales volume of specific product that a company sells. Predict the annual sales volume of specific product. How much sale will we have for that specific product? So, which model evaluation metrics will meet this requirement? I heard that it's mean absolute percentage error, mean absolute error. I did this question before, so I think it's this one. Why is it that one though? What is MAPI, mean absolute percentage error? Is the mean of the absolute differences between actual values and the predicted values. So that ML has to have like the predicted value that the ML predicts has to be very close to actual value divided by actual values. You can use MAPI or MAP in numeric predictions to understand model prediction error. You can use MAP to predict the annual sales volume of specific product. Okay, where's the other one? The other guy. Mean absolute error, MAE. MAE measures how different the predicted and actual values are when the values are averaged over all values. You can use MAE in numeric predictions to understand model prediction errors. You can use MAE to predict the annual sales volume of a specific product. A data scientist is working on a text generation model that uses embeddings to represent the content as vectors. What is the purpose of using embeddings in context? To tokenize the input text into individual words or subword? No. To encode input text into sequence of numerical tokens? Yes. To apply attention mechanism to input text? No. To capture semantic relationship? No, so it's no number changing into number. No, it's not. Oh, God. Why not? I'm gonna cry. Embeddings are vector. I haven't read this whole thing. Embeddings are vector representation of content that captures semantic relationships. Embeddings provide content with similar meaning to have close vector representation. Embeddings are crucial component of text generation models. Embeddings give the model the ability to understand and generate coherent and meaningful text. Oh my gosh. Okay, I should never forget this. So embeddings are vector representation or numerical representation. They're not actually like numbers. They are numerical representations of content that capture semantic relationship. Okay. So we got another one here. Financial representation, no, financial services. I think I need to learn more about embeddings. I'm not getting it. And I need to see more in the AWS console. A financial services company is deploying ML models to predict fraudulent transactions by using Amazon SageMaker AI. Because of the sensitive nature of predictions and regulatory compliance, the company wants to evaluate models and explain model predictions. Which SageMaker AI feature will meet this requirement? Is it clarified? It should be, right? Yes. An AWS administrator needs to secure ML resources in an AWS environment. To do what? To secure. It's going to be IAM, but let's see. The administrator must set up appropriate permissions to use AWS S3 and Amazon SageMaker on the user, group, and federated role level. Which AWS service or feature can the administrator use to grant bucket permission? No, to grant this permission. Is it IAM? Yes, it is. And let's go. 59. Oh, 5 more questions to go. An AI specialist is training a regression ML model and observing bias and variance during the training. Which bias and variance pattern will result in model overfitting? High bias, high variance, I believe. And observing bias and variance. Oh no. Yeah. What? What? Wait. Which bias and variance pattern will result model of low bias? So at first it has no bias or small bias during the training data. Then high variance. Low bias indicates that the model is not making erroneous assumptions about the training data. Low variance indicates that the model is not paying attention to noise in the training data. This is an ideal outcome of modern, what did I say, isn't it? Okay. Modern training and would not result in model overfitting. Why is it not this? High bias indicates that the model is making erroneous assumptions about the training data. High variance indicates that the model is paying attention to noise in the training data. However, this pattern will rarely happen during model training and does not indicate that the model is overfitting or underfitting. So for overfitting, it's going to be low bias, high variance. Okay, how about underfitting? Tell me in short. See, do we have a summary? Summarize in one sentence. Underfitting. Ask AWS Q built-in. Guys, there are a lot of what? Sorry, I can only answer questions related to AWS products and services. That's what I asked you. Q, what do you mean? Okay, what do you mean? Okay, we're not gonna read through this. Okay, underfitting is another type of error that occurs when the model cannot determine meaningful relationship between the input and output. Underfit models experience high bias. They give inaccurate results for both the training data and the tested data. Overfit models experience high variance. They give, variance mean the difference between training data and test data. They give accurate results for the training set, but not for the test set. More model training results in less bias, but variance can increase between underfitting and overfitting. Okay, let's exit this. Okay, underfitting, overfitting. Let me just write it. Should be so easy. Okay, Data scientist is building an AI model to predict sales volume from market dataset. After ingesting data scientists want to determine which market parameters would most affect sales volume. Then the data scientist will incorporate the parameters in the okay. Ingesting want to determine feature selection. That's feature selection. I'm rushing to get my time. And then continue. What is primary purpose of using prompt templates in prompt engineering? To guide, no, to train a model, no, to offer a model consistent and structured format for inputs and output. Continue. Select correct AI concept from the following. Okay, let's go. So when a model performs well on training data but fails to generate new data is overfitting. The ability to understand how a model arrives at a prediction is explainability. Unfair prejudice is bias. When a model is too simple to capture the underlying patterns of the data is underfitting. And impartial and just is fairness. Am I finished? Let's see how much questions. Social media company notices a rise in the number of creative content types that are uploaded to its platform. Creative content types include cartoon, animation, drawing. The company wants to perform content moderation of the creative content. Which solution will meet this requirement with least operational overhead? Is it recognition? Do I know this question before? Recog? Yeah, it's Recog. Use content moderation and Recog because it needs least operational overhead. Company has large repo of PDF document. Each document contains multiple images, diagram, scan, table that are related to business operation. Company wants to create semantic search system to provide quick retrieval of images based on content and context. The solution must analyze images to extract content and identify object. Company does not want to rely on file names or manual tagging. Which combination of AWS services will meet this requirement with least operational overhead is recognition and what else? And text track, is it? Wait. Image, diagrams, scan tables, semantic search, quick retrieval of images based on content, context. Images, analyze images, identify objects, file names. How is it text track? I don't see the text track. Translate legs. I'll just do this and maybe I don't know. Oh yeah, I was right. Company is developing what? ML model to generate natural language response for a customer service chatbot. Model needs to be evaluated for its ability to generate responses as similar to the response from SMEs. That is best score. Best score. Sample questions. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's just go. Do it. Let's submit, guys. We got 2 minutes to still, but let's do this away, out of our way. Submitting. Okay. Well, then you have completed your practice exam score. Oh, I got 86% only. Oh no. But that's a good thing. But 56 out of 65? Okay, I also been using help. Okay, let's see. Where are the details? View item details. Let's go view item details. Okay, let's be past, guys. Wait, what is the score of passing the score of AI practitioner?
The passing score for the AWS Certified AI Practitioner exam is typically around 700 out of 1,000 points. It can vary slightly, but generally you need to score at least 70% to pass. If you need more detail,
So 70%. Okay, we're good, guys. I'll let you guys go. Let me just stop recording and then okay, yeah. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna do another quick rundown and we stop this one.